At a lively truth or dare game with her friends, she let out a sharp laugh. "All right, my body count is 26, she declared. "I told him it was just one." The room fell silent, jaws dropped, and I sat there, stunned, my world tilting. When I confronted her about the lie, she rolled her eyes dismissively. "The past is irrelevant, grow up," she snapped. I stayed quiet, but in the weeks that followed, she would come to see exactly why her past mattered. My life turned upside down on a Saturday night about a month ago. My girlfriend, Emily, had her friends over at my place. They were deep into a few bottles of wine and decided to play truth or dare as if they were back in high school. I wasn't part of the game, just lounging by the fireplace, half-tuned into their chatter. These were her new urban friends, the ones she'd gathered since moving in with me 2 years ago. They were all bold personalities and city flair, a far cry from the small-town girl I thought I knew. Then her friend Tara, the loudest of the bunch, dared Emily to reveal her real body count. Emily's face shifted, like she was about to put on a show, and she shot me a sly smirk. I grinned back, oblivious to the bombshell about to drop. We'd had the talk early on when things got serious. She told me she'd only been with one guy before me, a college boyfriend. I shared that I'd been with 3. It felt like a moment of raw honesty, a foundation for trust. Then, in a voice loud enough for the whole room, she said, "Fine. My body count is 26. I lied to him when I said it was 1. The room went dead quiet. You could have heard a feather fall. Her friends' heads whipped toward me, their faces a mix of shock and pity, like I was some naive guy who'd been played. And in that moment, I suppose I was. My face burned, my pulse roared in my ears. It wasn't just the lie, it was the number. 26. It didn't add up. It was like she was describing a stranger I'd been living with, sleeping beside, planning a future with for 2 years. But the worst part was her reaction. She saw the stunned looks, the drama she'd stirred, and she reveled in it. Her face glowed with a proud, defiant smirk, like she'd just proven how worldly she was, how she'd outsmarted the simple guy in the corner. I didn't lose it, I didn't say a word. I kept my expression neutral, got up, and offered to grab more drinks, acting like nothing had happened. Inside, though, my mind was unraveling. The trust I'd placed in her, the future we'd been building, it all crumbled in seconds. The rest of the night was a blur. I played the good host on autopilot, smiling and nodding while my thoughts raced, replaying every moment of our relationship, searching for clues I'd missed. After her friends left, whispering among themselves, I finally spoke. Standing by the fireplace as she tidied up, humming like it was any other night, I said, "How could you lie to me like that?" My voice was low, heavy. She spun around with an exaggerated eye roll, dripping with condescension. "Oh, come on," she said like I was overreacting. "It was ages ago. The past doesn't matter. Grow up. Grow up." She'd humiliated me in front of her friends, admitted to lying throughout our entire relationship, and I was the one who needed to grow up. That was the moment something shifted. The hurt vanished, replaced by a cold, steely resolve. A switch flipped. I knew it was over. I run a logistics company. My world is built on facts, numbers, and calculated risks. A person who lies so effortlessly, so shamelessly about who they are isn't just a bad partner. They're a liability you can't afford. "You're right," I said, my voice flat, emotionless. She smirked, smug, thinking she'd won, that she'd managed my petty feelings. "Good," she said. "I'm glad you're not being a baby about this." She sauntered off to the bedroom, probably feeling victorious. She had no idea I was agreeing with her, that the past does matter, and I was going to prove it. I didn't argue or yell. I let her past speak for itself. Emily had grown up in the same small town as me, a place she'd worked hard to escape, reinventing herself as a polished city woman. She was about to be sent right back to the life she'd tried to leave behind. Update: the plan unfolds. 3 weeks have passed since that night. Emily thought I'd moved on. I played the part quiet, composed, letting her believe I'd taken her advice to be mature. In reality, I was working. The lie wasn't just about hurt feelings. It was the calculated disrespect. The next weekend, I took a trip back to our hometown, telling Emily I was visiting family. I did see them, but my real mission was reconnaissance. Small towns talk. I met up with some old friends at a local bar and started asking questions. The stories poured out. Emily had a reputation back home, and it wasn't flattering. They called her a storm, sweeping into lives, causing chaos, then vanishing. She'd target decent guys with something to offer: a nice car, a house, a steady job. She'd use them, milking what she could, all while scouting her next mark. Then she'd disappear, often leaving debts or messes behind. It wasn't a one-off lie to me. It was a pattern of manipulation. While I was digging, Emily was chasing her new career as an event planner, aiming for the elite charity scene in the city. She'd landed a major gig, a gala for a prominent children's hospital. It was her chance to cement her new persona. And I was footing the bill, non-refundable deposits for a luxury venue, top-tier caterers, and the live band she insisted on. She was using my money to build a life she'd never share with me. The invoices told the story. This wasn't just an event, it was her monument to herself. That's when my plan crystallized. I wasn't just going to end things. I was going to unravel the fake life she'd built on my dime, using her own past as the weapon. I started by listing every vendor she'd hired for the gala. Then I made another list, the men from her past. My logistics background made tracking people easy. After late nights scouring social media and making discreet calls, I found several of the 25 guys. Many were still local, doing well. A wedding photographer, a caterer with a thriving business, even a lawyer at a small firm. They'd moved on, but none had forgotten Emily's damage. I contacted them, posing as a business owner vetting an event planner for a major corporate event. "I see you know Emily from way back," I'd say. "Is she reliable with a budget?" The stories flooded in. The caterer shared how she'd borrowed thousands for a supposed emergency, then ghosted him. The lawyer described a credit card she'd maxed out after he co-signed, then vanished. I recorded every call, citing quality assurance for legality. I was building a dossier of her past manipulations. The final piece was the gala. The charity committee's chair, Margaret Holt, was a no-nonsense, old-money type who valued the hospital's reputation above all. Emily had charmed her initially, but I knew that wouldn't hold up under scrutiny. I arranged a meeting with Margaret, telling Emily it was a business dinner. At her exclusive club, I laid it out calmly, framing it as a matter of financial responsibility. I explained I'd funded the gala's deposits and had uncovered troubling details about Emily's financial history, raising concerns about her ability to manage the event. I handed Margaret a folder with notarized statements from 2 of Emily's exes, detailing her history of leaving debts, plus evidence of her hidden credit card debt. "As the funder," I said, "I have to flag this risk. Her pattern of financial irresponsibility is clear, and I'm withdrawing my support to protect my company's reputation." Margaret read the documents in silence, her face unreadable. When she finished, she closed the folder and said, "Your diligence is appreciated, Mr. Carter. I'll handle this." I knew it was done. Emily's big break, her escape from her small-town past, depended on this event. And I just handed the power to destroy it to someone who wouldn't hesitate. Final update, the fallout. It's over. I'm in my office looking out at the city skyline and the storm has passed. The problem is gone. Margaret acted swiftly. Within 24 hours, Emily received a curt email from the charity committee. Her contract was terminated due to concerns about her professional conduct and potential reputational risk. No further explanation. Emily came home that night in a frenzy, screaming, crying, hurling objects. She blamed everyone but herself, the committee, a rival planner, anyone. She demanded I use my connections to fix it, threatening lawsuits. I sat on the couch, letting her rage burn out. When she paused, gasping for breath, I said, "There's nothing to fix, Emily, they know." Her confusion was palpable. "Know what?" she asked. "Your past," I replied. "The one you said doesn't matter." Her face drained of color. She saw me differently, like I was the enemy. "You told them," she whispered. "I didn't need to say much," I said. "I just pointed out the risk. It was a business decision. You'd understand." Her panic turned to fury. She lunged at me, throwing a pillow, which I caught. She screamed insults, her polished city girl facade gone, revealing the desperate small-town woman she'd tried to bury. "Get out," I said, my voice icy calm. She protested, claiming she had rights to stay. I was prepared. The lease in my name only and a lawyer's trespass notice sat on the coffee table. "1 hour," I said. "Then I call the police." As she packed, her phone exploded with calls from gala vendors demanding cancellation fees. Her city friends, they vanished. No one wanted to touch the disaster she'd become. She left an hour later, dragging a suitcase, her face puffy from tears. The confident woman who dismissed me was gone, but I wasn't done. I'd tipped off a local gossip blogger through a business contact. Days later, a story dropped, no names but unmistakable. A small-town girl chasing city dreams, a failed charity gala, whispers of a shady past filled with debts and scorned exes. Everyone in her circle knew it was her. Her event-planning career was finished. Last night she showed up at my door looking wrecked. She'd been couch surfing, likely kicked out. I have nothing, she whispered. My career, my friends, gone. You didn't lose them, I said. You spent them every time you lied or used someone. This is the bill. She begged for help, claiming she had no money, nowhere to go. I'd anticipated this. I handed her a bus ticket back to our hometown and $500 cash. You said the past doesn't matter, I told her. But it's all you've got now. Go home. Try being someone else this time. She stared at the ticket like it was a prison sentence. Returning to our town, a failure, facing the people she'd looked down on, that was her worst nightmare. It was the death of the persona she'd built. She took the ticket and cash without a word and walked into the night. I closed the door, feeling a quiet peace for the first time in weeks. This wasn't about watching her fall. It was about justice. She built her life on lies, thinking she could outrun her past. But the past is your foundation, and hers was rotten. I just gave it a nudge, and it collapsed, exactly as it was always going to.